Moose Country, welcome to another episode of Let Us Be Heard.
What's up, everybody? Calling back to bring you another episode of Let Us Be Heard. Joined, of course, as always, by my friend, co-host, and fellow Moose Maniac, Dylan Gorman. Dylan!
What's going on, dude?
Woo-hoo-hoo. Looking sexy there, bud, all clean-shaven and stuff.
It's a mistake.
It knocked off about 8 years of your age.
Yeah, tell that to the people working the door at the Roxbury there.
Oh, did they give Will Baby a hard time?
Every time I went in and out.
Nice, man. I haven't gotten that beat in a while.
To put this out there, I don't drink, so I was the sober one driving.
That's right. It's always good to have a buddy who doesn't drink so you can get your drunk ass home, right? So we got an interview, obviously. That's why we're here. That's why people are tuning in.
Do we? I thought you just sent me the Zoom for just a chat.
No, I didn't need to see your face that much, buddy.
Hey, are you actually recording this time?
Yeah, I am. I can see it.
There we go.
I can see it. We're good. Let's audio's all good. It says recording. I'm on the right source, right scene. We're good. This is awesome.
Perfect. Things are going smooth so far.
It's unprecedented.
Things are going real smooth.
Yeah, real smooth. So we got a good one on today. He played 2 seasons with the Moose.
Yep. His rookie year was the year that everybody talks about for the Moose.
That's right. And he had an injury that put him out quite a while, eh?
Yeah, he missed quite a few games with an injury, which I'm sure we'll get into and ask him about how everything went there and how the healing process was, especially as an athlete with the injury that he had.
Yeah, it was a severe injury. Well, why speculate on how he healed? Why don't we just ask him himself? Friend,
I'm doing good, man. Yourself?
Awesome. Listen, thank you so much for taking some time apart for us. We love hearing from our former Moose. Dylan has a saying on the channel: "Once a Moose, always a Moose," and we just can't wait to get it in and see how you're doing and talk about your time with the Moose.
Thank you for having me on, boys.
No worries. I'm going to jump right into it. Who made you, as a kid, want to play hockey? Was it somebody on TV? Was it somebody in the family? What is it that inspired you to get into the game?
So, honestly speaking, I didn't know too much about hockey, actually. My stepdad, he played hockey younger, kind of played juniors, not too high-level hockey, but he forced me, actually, to get on the ice. The first year, he ended up buying all my gear. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. I was like 5 years old at this point. I get on the ice. I started crying. I didn't want to play. The following, so we ended up scratching that. And then the following year after, I told my father once again, I was like, yeah, let's make it happen. And then I didn't want to go again. And then he forced me to stay on the ice and kind of took off from there.
So do you thank him for pushing you nowadays?
I definitely do.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So while you were with the Mooseheads, you wore number 5. Was that a number you always wore? What was your number growing up? Because I know, as somebody who played hockey myself, I've always had, you go into the dressing room, when you're selecting numbers, you always go for the same one, just weird superstitions in our head. So what was yours? And if it wasn't 5, why the change?
As growing up as a kid, it was 55. I kind of threw on they gave me the 5 at camp, and then it kind of just stuck with 5 when I made the squad the following year, not my first year. So I kind of stuck with 5, but my number was 55. Growing up as a kid, and then obviously also too number 7 because of was it Michael Vick. So I was like to stick with that because I was also a football player growing up when I was younger. Actually, probably better at football than I was at hockey. So.
What made you go hockey? Other than just your father forcing you?
I think when I was younger, we were kind of already talking about like having an agent, such and such. When it came to that, I was being exposed a little bit more when I was younger for the big hits and the physicality part, and obviously because of my size, and then so we kind of just rolled with hockey. There was a little bit more hype evolving around the hockey game compared to football, so just stuck with hockey, to be honest.
Yeah, especially in Canada, we don't have the market for football here. It's a shame. I lived in Alberta, and there was like pro football players for the CFL that were working at Wendy's in off season. Like it's horrible here for football players.
Yeah, I got a couple of buddies that play out in the CFL, so it's rough.
Yeah. So did you know about the Mooseheads before you were drafted in the 3rd round in 2011?
Had no idea. Well, I mean, as growing up, I didn't even know what midget AAA was at first. I remember playing Bantam, Pee Wee Bantam. I was like, "What is this team, midget AAA?" And then kind of sparked on me. My father kind of explained exactly what it was, and my dad was like, "Yeah, this is the team you want to play for when if you want to hockey." And then I think we had the interviews in Bantam, Bantam. In midget, because obviously you play midget first play. Was in midget Espoir, and I ended up getting those meetings. So kind of first knew about those when I was like 15, 16. So,
and for the viewers, midget is now U18, I believe. Correct, Dylan?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
Now,
a lot has changed.
Staying on that real quick, did your stepfather make you watch NHL with him? And if so, who was your team?
Honestly speaking, no. I wasn't a big fan of watching hockey or any kind of sports, at all. I didn't. I more was like playing NHL. Yeah, playing stuff like that. But other than that, I didn't watch too much hockey because of hockey. Hockey kind of took over. We didn't have so much time. A lot of hockey tournaments, playing AAA in the summer. During the year, there was tournaments that we had, or obviously during the season. So it was a little bit more difficult to be watching the game. Yeah.
So you touched on it. You made the team the 2nd year of camp. After the first year, how difficult was it to make the team the next year? Like, how motivated were you? And what was the feeling knowing that the team had a strong run the year before and then going into your rookie year? What was your feeling all along in camp?
To be honest, when I had got cut my first year, it kind of tore me apart. I've never had that. I've never been in that situation where I got cut before. So it was definitely difficult and more of like a mental thing for me. I mean, at some point, I think I came back home after that, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to play hockey just for that moment. But coming back, I went to midget. I don't know if you guys know, I went to Ontario Hockey Academy. Mm-hmm. So I ended up playing my midget AAA season there due to some issues that I had over here in Chateauguay with the Patriots. Now they're called Les Grenadiers, so they switched over. So kind of that year, I needed to have a strong year. I think I did pretty well that year, and I thought I was good enough to make the team my first year. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So coming back the next year after, I knew that summer was important, getting the training, getting my mind ready, and showing up for camp ready.
And you did. So in your first year, just staying with that, in your first year, did you take anything from the coaches and work on that for the following year?
Honestly speaking, so when I went to camp my first year, we had a conversation because I got called into the room, and then just told me to get because obviously the game was a lot faster.
Yeah.
Your guys, I still think it was me more of showing up in shape. That summer, I didn't take it too seriously and thinking that I was, already in shape or, being young, you think that you're like, you're fine and ready to go. But just showing up ready and having a different mindset. This was something bigger, and this is like the big leagues a little bit. So,
yep. Oh, yeah.
Going up.
These boys that make it live, breathe, and sweat hockey, they're doing stuff at home constantly. So if you're not doing the same, you're going to stay the same, and they're going to progressively get better, right? So you're right. You just work on yourself.
Yeah.
Did you have the feeling? Dylan touched on the 2013 season. Did you have a feeling at the beginning of that season, fresh out of camp, the boys that were on that team, that it was going to be as good a team as it turned out to be?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
You can see as soon as you get on the ice, even in preseason, going in and playing against other teams with, not having everybody on the roster right away, but kind of dominating right away and making our presence known. Obviously, we were in the Maritime Division.
Yep.
It worried me in the beginning just because when you made the switch over and we went to go play Quebec City, they had, what's it called? The Huskies.
Yep, Rwanda.
Norway. And then, those teams it was just completely different hockey. So it worried me a little bit. But as the season progressed and we kept going and we were winning games like wildfire, couldn't seem to lose much, right? I was pretty confident in the team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the star power that you had on that team was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But other than the star power, what do you think was the biggest contribution to the team's success?
I think off the ice, we were very tight as a squad. The dynamics off the ice was just something crazy. I think, we were very tight. The guys are always together. Just how much we bonded, to be honest with you. I think we bonded like no other team. And then just the work ethic that everybody wanted to put in. I think we had a goal. We had a goal in mind, right? So we talked about it, win the day. And each day just getting better and better. And just like I said, the work ethic that everybody put in and the bond.
And it was insane. You guys, the team itself, lost 8 games that season. That's it.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I look back at the ring and I'm like, oh my God, it's wild.
You still have the ring?
Yeah, I still have the ring.
You just got to put it away or what?
I put it away. My dad had it for a while. And then I ended up bringing it back here, my house now. So, but I'll give it back to my dad. I let my dad keep it.
That's
so
awesome.
we had Ian Robinson on. He told us a story when Drew N came in when we hosted the Memorial Cup in 2019.
Yeah.
Ian Robinson looked over and was like, "Thanks for helping me get this." And he held up his ring, and Joe said, "Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Mine's safe with my mom at her house. She's keeping it safe for me."
100%, because good like that. The parents, they take pride in it. So they got my draft jersey. They got my ring. So something special.
Well, to be fair, they're every bit responsible for that, for you being on that winning team as you are. Parents make a huge sacrifice in hockey. There's no other sport like it, that the parents are up at 5 a.m. every day, and the amount of money that they have to sink in when you get to that level in U18 and U. They put a lot into it. So it's only fitting that you keep it with your dad. That's awesome, man.
Now, I have one. I didn't send it to you, but this kind of touches along with like the whole parents thing.
Yeah.
You're from Quebec. How was it coming down to the Maritimes, and now you're away from your family, living with a new family?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm English, right? So Quebec is mainly French over here. I think coming down to the Maritimes, I felt welcomed. I actually have some family down in Halifax as well, because my family is Scotian as well.
Nice.
I felt at home from home. I had people take care of me while I was there. I had amazing billet family, Ash and Mandy Phillips. I don't know if you know them. They took
I've heard them. Yeah.
Yeah, they took care of me like that was one of their own. So I didn't feel homesick. I didn't feel they didn't make me feel sad, mad, or anything like that being away from home. So I felt safe. So that was good.
That's awesome. The Q does a great job of picking their billets. I've said it before. They're, I've met a few billets and they all seem like they're just salt of the earth type people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Your rookie season. In February, you suffered a serious injury. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
So basically broke my jaw. Ended up getting two-handed in the face by Ross Johnston, who's now, where's he at now? Where is he playing for now?
I have no idea. I don't know who he is, and I don't care. He's not a Moose.
Let me pull that up.
Well, he was in with the Islanders, and now he's with somebody else now. I don't know. But basically going through it. I think he meant to hit me, but just not in my face.
Yeah,
and it catching me solid directly on my chin. So I ended up getting 2 plates and 4 screws put in. I think it was just part of the game. In my mind, I think there could have been taken legal actions or whatever the case may be. In my mind, it's part of the game. So
what was the recovery like though? Like your road back to 2014, what was the road like?
I was back 2 weeks after.
Really?
Yeah,
Actually,
he was back that year.
2 weeks though. That's nuts.
Yeah, I came back, but I ended up wearing the bottom cage there with the half visor.
Yeah.
My first appearance back, I think it was in Cape Breton on an away game. I ended up losing a lot of weight. I lost maybe 25 pounds, 30 pounds, because I wasn't able to eat solids, right? So I felt very weak. So getting back into it was definitely rough, but we had good trainers kind of keeping me still in it. The process, obviously, with I guess you could say concussion protocol, because I didn't have any, but just because of where it was placed, they wanted to make sure I was good and okay. But other than that, I was good. Like I said, I think hockey players are just built different. So.
Very much so.
I seen the video, man, and it's savage to watch.
Yeah,
it's savage to watch.
Yeah, it felt it felt like somebody slapped me really hard. Other than that, it didn't. And then I went back to the bench, and our trainer Diane, bench, and I was having conversation, and I could just hear my jaw
clicking,
and I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, it's broken."
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that night was going on downtown Halifax, so it took a while for the ambulance to arrive.
Man.
Yeah. So that happened actually right in front of me. I remember that clear as day. It's still something that stands there. I was sitting down with Ashley and Hockey Mom.
Yeah.
At the time. So that's where that's where my seat was. So it happened right in front of me. Yep.
Yeah.
It happened right in front of me. So I remember when it happened, everyone was like, "What was it? What is it? What is it?" Everyone was speculating, and we were all just sitting there. It's like, that's a broken jaw. Like just from our angle, we saw it.
From the video, I gotta tell you, from the video standpoint, now I don't know what the tempers were like and the temperament on the ice that night because I wasn't there. But from the video, it looks like he was actually stuck in the boards with his stick, and he was pulling it out.
Yeah. I think point, but the way he swung just was unnecessary.
I agree.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, it looked like a baseball bat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So so it was a physical game. Guys were going back and forth. We're hitting each other. If you can see the video, you can see me giving him 6 extra pushes in the corner. So I guess it was the heat of the moment and things happened. So, I was back 2 weeks later.
Thankfully.
No, yeah, exactly. So
I
can't.
You were back 2 weeks later, and at the end of that season in the Q, you really, not only did you get the upper hand on him and the advantage on him, but you got it over every other team in the league.
Yeah.
How did it feel celebrating the President's Cup win on home ice, the first President's Cup win in Moosehead history, and then when the fans ended up on the ice with you guys, what was that whole experience like?
It was definitely something special. Especially being I didn't play all year, right? So I got scratched a good portion of the season as well. But being able to be a part of the President's Cup and actually playing, it was there's no other feeling. Especially that series with Bacomo was something like it was pretty wild.
It was
intense. So, but being able to share it with the fans and stuff like that after, it was just a memorable moment. So it's probably one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life.
That's amazing.
From a fan's point of view that was there, I remember, again, down where I was sitting right by the tunnel where you guys came out.
Yeah.
The ushers and everybody, they were stopping people from going out on the ice. So me and a few others looked at the other end of the ice, the Bacomo side, and we saw people getting onto the ice that way. And we're like, well, if they're getting on, we're getting on. We ran around the building to get on to celebrate with you guys.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have stopped anybody. It was Moose Country.
That's right, baby. Moose Country. So, can you remember a louder experience in the Metro Center? Or is that it? Like, is there something else with your time with us that was just like, wow?
I think it was my first game. My first game, never really playing in front of people like that, just playing mid AAA or whatever the case may be. It just definitely wasn't the same atmosphere. And you got to remember that year we put up numbers for when it came to fans in the stands, right? So it was definitely something special. It could have been a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, whether the kids had school the next day. So they came out and showed us some love. So, I mean, I think it was probably my first game putting that jersey on for the first time. That would just wowed me.
So no pressure to answer this any type of way, but has that ever been replicated in any of the other teams you played for?
Maybe in Quebec City, but I think that was something different. I think I was more stressed out in Quebec City. In country. There's just two different atmospheres.
Yeah.
Like I already felt at home. I kind of was pretty tight with the fans. They showed me a lot of love. So Quebec City, when I went to play to Quebec City, I didn't really know too many people. And it just was stressful.
Really? Oh, that's unfortunate, because we always hear that that the Moose fans, the closest to Moose fan that you can find is a Ramparts fan.
I mean, they're big on it, but I think that knowing the fact is that I had gotten drafted there, being there the year prior to camp, and meeting fans and meeting people, and just getting that welcoming feeling, as opposed to me being in Chicoutimi. Then I got traded by Christmas, and then hopping right into it, not really knowing anybody. So it was just different.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So going back with the Mooseheads, that same year, you guys go out west.
Yep.
Playing in the Memorial Cup. You win it. What was that experience like, and what was the feeling coming home? Because I remember there were so many people, so many of us at the airport when you guys got off the flight with the Memorial Cup, and then the parade and the whole celebration at Parade Square. The city was absolutely flooded.
It was buzzing.
What was that like as a player?
Well, very hungover. And obviously had the Toronto, the Toronto Blue Jays, flight or whatever it was, their plane or whatever it was. So being on that, we could do kind of whatever we wanted. So the flight back, pretty fun. But going to Memorial Cup, we went as underdogs. Underdogs. You had Portland Winterhawks and you had the London Knights kind of taking over the scene, right? So, but in my mind, when we got there, I knew that we meant business, and our team was ready for that tournament, and I knew we were taking it. the willingness for the guys and, you know, that next step. So, but coming back definitely was something special coming off that plane and seeing Moose Country. You know, you don't have to do those things, right? You know, people don't have to be coming out and showing support like that. But the fact is that happened, and we had a lot of people. And then, also, it definitely was a special moment and something that I look back at. I still even look at pictures all the time. You know, us coming off the plane and you're just seeing the smiles and the faces of everybody. So it was definitely something special.
So I'm going to stay on that for a second. So the world's changing, as is things at the now Scotiabank Center, where we're doing away with a lot of the fan interaction. There's now like signings once a week. Very little interaction with our players, and I say our players because they're our players. How important to your game was the fan interaction, to feel love from the fans and to feel like you needed to perform for them?
I honestly speaking, for me, I was someone who's very sociable, so I loved having conversation with fans all the time, whether not in the lineup as well. I would make sure I'd go down and kind of, you know, walk around, talk to whoever it was. I don't know how it is now, if the boys are allowed to be doing that. I know we had the box upstairs or up there where we kind of chill for the guys that weren't playing, but fan interaction to me was very important. You know, just getting to know the people around and, you know, see where their heads at, you know, and then they kind of ask whatever questions they want to ask us, especially when it comes to the kids. You know, they appreciate it a lot. You know, you got a lot of kids that love hockey and they look up to us, right? So if you're stush and you're not really having conversation, I just don't think it looks well. So that's big to me.
And those fans that are born at a young age stay fans for the rest of their life. I know somebody who started going to games when they were 1 day old, and they're still going to games today. They're 18 years old now.
That's
wild.
I mean?
Like, I don't know if you remember little Emily.
Yeah.
So she's still going to games. She started when her first game was a year old.
Wow.
And she's 18 now. A day old. And
that's crazy.
She's 18 and she's still at the games with her mother and father. You know, though that breeds lifetime fans. And the reason I ask is because I'm hoping that the Moose see these interviews and try to revert back to a way that we can all win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be important, especially for the organization. You know, it's on for you guys as well, being the fans. I think it's very important. Like I said, for me back in the day. It's been like 10 years now, 10 years now. It feels like it was yesterday, but going back to time, I'm like, wow, 10 years. This is crazy. But
it makes you feel old, eh?
Yeah, it does make me feel old, and I'm still young. So
you're only 28?
Yeah, I'm 28. Yeah, 28. But I also got 3 kids too, so it makes me feel old.
I got 3 as well, man, but I bet you mine are a lot older.
How old?
I got 23, 16, and 7.
Yeah. Well, my oldest daughter's 9, son is 7, and my youngest daughter's 2. So
that's awesome.
I actually had my daughter one, and she go to me. In June.
So, are you going to get your son into hockey, or your daughters?
The moms were gymnastics people, so they took on that route. My son, he starts coming to more of my games now because I'm still playing right now. Now he's telling me he wants to play, so we're gonna get him out there. He's 7, so we'll see what happens. I didn't want to, right? So kind of just let them free willingly want to do it, and then if they tell me they want to do something, then that's fine. But I know what it's like, you know. So, and you know, being part of that world, I guess you could say, just kind of want to let them do as they please, and if they want to, they want to.
I agree 100%, man. So keeping on with that great year we had, what the following year, what was the banner raising like the ceremony for that?
Yeah, it was something special. Definitely something special. I mean, I can't really recap that day. It's been a while. I can only tell you really the moment of us winning, and then, but it definitely was something special, and the noise in the arena. was definitely probably something crazy. So we were just trying to, have another season like that, and we did pretty well the following year as well, right? So we were trying to repeat what happened the year before.
So, other than the wins, because other than the Memorial Cup and President's Cups, because those are usually the default answers to this question, are the big wins.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Moose memory? Whether it's a road trip that you guys did, something that happened during training camp, anything really. What's something that stands out in your mind from your time with the Moose?
I think honestly, just the relationships I gained when it came to the guys. We had a mixture of guys from Quebec. We had a mixture of guys from Maritimes. So, just the bonds that we kind of created when it came to that. So those are probably my most memorable times. The hockey is what we're there to do. It's, we were born to do this, and then we kind of forget about the, hockey is it's fun. It's a game, off the ice, kind of, decompress and just, understand that it's a game, and we try to enjoy it as much as possible. But the bonds, like I said, for the friendships that I gained.
And knowing the players that were on that team, especially the leadership core and Lewis and them being the captains, you guys really had a fun team. You could just tell you guys really enjoyed being around each other.
Definitely, as I spoke about it before, it was always jokes, laughs. We had we knew when to take it seriously and when we could take our foot off the pedal. So we definitely always had a good time and some good laughs.
So do you still keep in contact with any of them?
Right now, probably not as much. More of the guys from Montreal. A little bit more difficult. A lot of guys are either playing in Europe or they have their jobs. I speak to Max Lindsay a couple here and there. But other than that, probably, kind of life hits you and, kind of grow apart kind of. So I think they had the guys come back, but not everybody was there, unfortunately. So, yeah.
So you said you keep in touch with some of the guys from Quebec. When that business decision was made, how did that feel, and how did it affect you to be traded to Quebec after playing 2 years with us and fall in love with the the fans, the building, the team, the organization?
It hurt. It was definitely something that I didn't want, but the fact is that also I was having my daughter. So during that time, I found out that the mother of my oldest daughter was pregnant, and then basically made that decision to try and come closer to home to support and obviously be closer to home. 12 hours is not the closest, and to be flying all the time. So it definitely, it hurt, and obviously moving away, but it was something that I had to do for my family.
I love that you spun it around to a positive, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
So you went to Chicoutimi, and then you said, you got dealt at Christmas time to Quebec. The Ramparts were making a run that year because they were hosting the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
What was it like playing in your second Memorial Cup or being a part of it? And this time it was at home. It wasn't on the road. You didn't have the fans booing you or anything. It was your building.
It was something special. I ended up getting injured actually. Probably about 10 games in. I ended up tearing everything in my ankle. I got screws put in. I broke not the fibula, but the tibia, and then I was out for a while. I think I was supposed to be done for the season, and then I ended up coming back earlier than supposed to. I came back during playoffs. Well, tried to anyways, but it wasn't the same. But being at home, it was definitely something special. just waking up, going to the arena. We still stayed at a hotel. We didn't stay at our billet families. But it was definitely something crazy. Definitely not the same thing as Halifax, but the fact is that I got to, experience it 2 times. It was definitely something special. Not everybody gets to do that.
We should be calling you the Bionic Man with how much metal you have in your body now, eh?
It was bad.
So you guys stayed at a hotel while you were up there. I believe that's a CHL rule, isn't it, to keep everybody on a fair playing field so nobody's sleeping in their own beds, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't even know how it works, but I mean, I wasn't complaining. The food was great. I mean, I'm not saying my billet family couldn't cook in Quebec City, but I'm just saying hotel food and top of the line, everything is something different.
That's awesome because they don't stay in top of the line now anymore. I'll tell you that. I've seen some of the places they stayed in Moncton when they're playing in the kitty litter box.
Oh God,
yeah, it's a bad one. So we have a few more questions for you here, but I want to ask you: is there anything that you'd like to say to the Moose fans, the players of today, players of yesterday, or the organization? Like open floor, whatever you need to say.
All love, to be honest with you. Taking me back, I say to this day, if there was a place I had to move or I wanted to move, it would be Halifax, Moose Country.
You're welcome.
The love, the support. I don't think it gets any better than you guys. And for the players today, the past, after me, right? We're going future. Take it all in because it don't get no better.
Well, you're always welcome to move here, man. Like it's expensive as hell, but I mean, we'd love to see you back in the arena at some point.
I've been saying that I wanted to make a trip back there. It was something that was supposed to be in the works a couple of months ago, but just because I'm in school, so a little bit more difficult right now. But once school's over, I definitely plan on coming out there.
So what are you taking?
Right now, so my stepdad, my dad, I consider him my real father.
Yeah.
There since I've been 1 year old. So he owns group homes for people on the spectrum.
That's an awesome job, man.
So I working as a specialized educator, and right now I'm taking the assistance course for intellectual and physical deficiencies, and just finishing that up, and then hopefully can branch off from what my father's doing. So, any intellectual or physical disabilities is something that I love doing. I've been around it all my life. My dad's been doing it since I've been like 5 years old. So it's something special. I look up to my dad. So he's the reason why I play hockey, and he's, we're here today and we're doing this, and so he's my inspiration.
Good for you, man. I'll tell you a couple things real quick. First of all, that's an awesome career to move into. The world needs more people like that. But also, I have one of those as well. I didn't have a father growing up, and I received the greatest gift from God I could get was a stepfather at the age of 8, and I don't think I would have changed it and had another way. Like he was my rock growing up.
I wouldn't change it any other way either. Me and him like best friends. I call him. We speak to each other every day. I'm definitely fortunate to have him. So, something special.
So, a couple of years ago, the Mooseheads did an article on you, it's called under the Memorial Cup Memories, and at the end of it, they said that you were in the fall you'd be training to be an officer with the border agency. What happened with that to make you want to transition to doing what you're doing now?
I think that's what I wanted to do. It was something that was interesting to me. But the fact is that I'm not the greatest in school. First and foremost, I'm not the best. But I think coming back home, and I had my children, kind of my mind and everything kind of, you switch paths. I actually ended up joining construction. I went to school for carpentry. And then obviously my father's group homes has always been around me, but I was just still trying to find myself after kind of hockey was finished. Definitely something that was difficult to do. I didn't know nothing else but hockey. So definitely it was something that was hard coming back home. But now I'm at where I'm at now.
I think, in all honesty, it's probably the best career move you could have made. You see, I've never met you. You seem like a stellar human being, and it seems like you want to serve your community.
Definitely.
Just, the way I hear you talk about the fan interaction and your first choice being border services, and now the new career with learning disabilities. It just seems like you want to serve your community. I think that's a noble profession, man, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck with it, man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You were a bruiser. You were a bit of a fighter on the ice.
I mean, I definitely.
What is your opinion? And please don't be politically correct on the removal of fighting in the queue.
Definitely don't agree. I mean, I don't even know what. I really don't. It's hard to even wrap my mind around it, just because, I played in the Quebec leagues over here. You have the LNH. You have, I mean, those are goon leagues as well. You have the senior AAA. I'm sure you've heard of the LNH before. Yep. Donald Brashear is actually playing in Jonquière right now. And there's fighting going on, and I think it's just part of the game, to be honest with you. Things spark up in the moment. I wouldn't say. I think at one point when we were playing, when I was in Chicoutimi in Quebec City, they had I think it was like a certain amount of fight rules, and then I think you started getting suspension after. At one point.
Yeah.
I think they should have probably just kept that instead of removing it completely.
Agreed.
Yeah, because now it's you get a automatic suspension right away.
Yeah, so I think it was like 6 fights or something like that, and then after that it was kind of like, okay, well, you get 1 game, 2 games if you fight again, 3 games. But even for the player protection, I haven't seen any of the games lately. I don't know if it's dirty.
It is.
It can be. It can be. Yeah.
So like for me, that's a no-go.
Yeah. It was. I think it was more of a political move. I don't think the person who made the decision really follows hockey. I think it was more of a political move. But pardon?
Quebec's just different.
It's just built different.
It's built different. We do. Sorry, I was supposed to swear.
Go ahead, man. Like I said, be yourself.
We just do shit differently over here. I don't understand it, but it is what it is.
I have family in Laval. Believe me, they tell me all about it.
Yeah.
I have a question here, because Colin and I have very opposite opinions on this.
Yeah.
You were more of a stay-at-home defenseman when you were playing, which is what Colin very much prefers. He doesn't like seeing defensemen down below the hash marks, and pretty much doesn't really believe in being an offensive defenseman.
I don't.
Yeah.
What's your feel on it? I still say there's room for. There's 3 types of defensemen. The way I look at it, you got the two-way, who's both ends. You got the offensive and you got the defensive. You need to balance it out. You can't just have the stay at home. You need to have the offensive. Where do you stand on that?
I mean, me growing up, like when I played before I got drafted or whatever the case may be, I thought I was an offensive defenseman. So, in midget AAA, I still had 29 points in 28 games. I was still able to get a point a game. When I came to Halifax, you had Mackenzie Weegar already. I think in preseason, I think we had a good amount of points, me and him. So I figured, maybe I'll be an offensive defenseman still, but I kind of switched my my whole thing to stay-at-home defenseman. I guess you can say, somebody who can shut down the opposition. So also, putting fear in other people's eyes. So you think twice touching the puck, and I just love laying the body. But, I think it's creativity at the end of the day. If you have that upside to you, it's great. You can I guess, add to your offensive, skill set up front to your, but also on the power play, you guys are up one. It's a little bit more easier to rack up points on the power play as a defenseman. A lot harder. Start like doing 5-on-5, 4-on-4, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, you do have them, but you also see a lot of them are in the minuses than in the plus, right? Yeah, they're putting up, but they're still minus 50, 58 at the end of the year, or whatever the case may be.
See, my issue is the fact that if we have 2 offensive defensemen and the rest are stay at home, I'm fine with that. But I'd say we have 5 out of 7 are offensive defensemen, and that's so lopsided. You need to have more stay at home defensemen.
How are you guys doing this year, anyway?
We're doing actually really good this year. We're nitpicking. We're picking at little stuff because there's nothing to complain about. They're doing great. We just went on a 10-game win streak.
We're currently 18-4.
18-4, wow.
And ranked first in Canada.
Oh, so this looks like a promising year. Well, I feel like in the past couple of years has been very promising for the Moose Country.
Yeah, last year was really good. Did you get to any games last year in Quebec?
I didn't get to any games in Quebec, but I did watch some of them online.
Yeah.
The hype that was around it, I wanted to see what was up.
It was good, man.
Yeah. I see a lot of stories from Halifax, and so I'm like,
So, question real quick about your career. Do you think hockey has prepared you at all for it? Life skills, such and such?
I think when it comes to the professionalism, being able to communicate, having that confidence, I think it helped me in that aspect. But like I said, after hockey was finished, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. Let me be honest, when it came to the year that we won the Mem Cup, school wasn't important. It sucks to say, but school wasn't important.
You were too much of a star at that point.
Well, we were winning games. It was just like, yeah. it was, especially for the guys that were in high school. So I think it made me who I am today, definitely. But after hockey was done, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. I think a lot of people have these issues coming out of Quebec Major Junior when you don't end up, finding something or getting a contract or any type of tryout or whatever, or anything like that. It's difficult sometimes, but I think
is that something that you would give like as advice to the players that are currently playing and the ones that are coming up, is don't look past the schooling and have that backup plan potentially?
I would definitely say have that backup plan. We see the numbers and the percentages of people that actually do make it. You're right there. Trust me, you're sniffing right there to get to that point, but you're so far away. So, I played with Nate. We played we can mention Nathan McKinnon, Jonathan Drouin. You got guys that I played with in Quebec City, Anthony Duclair. You're right there and you're on the same team, but just because they're here doesn't mean that you're going to be right there with them. So I definitely have a backup plan. And, hockey isn't everything.
That's great advice, because we had one person on the show, I think it was Kevin Cormier, who said that it went to his head and it ruined a portion of his life. So those are great words of advice for younger players that are in the queue now.
Yeah,
right. I want to say thank you so much, Brian, for coming on the show. We're a small channel and we're just trying to grow. And every time one of you guys, our fan favorites or Moosehead, come on and show us some love and show us some support, it just makes us better and bigger. And I just want to say a big shout out to you, man. Thank you so much.
Well, big shout out to you guys for starting this and the reason why you guys are starting it. And I appreciate you guys having me and not forgetting about me.
Never, man, never.
Sometimes, I'm not a huge name, but, yeah, we appreciate you.
Well, like Dylan says, man, once a moose, always a moose. That's right. That's right.
So,
there it is.
Thank you, but there.
Look at that beauty.
We got a replica one the next season as season ticket holders.
Oh
That's
wow.
beautiful.
They gave us a replica one, obviously not as done up as yours, but
Yeah, his is much nicer there, Dylan.
as it should be.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate it. That's I think the second one we've seen on the show now. Right?
Second one?
Second
Yep.
one? Yeah, because we've seen
Ian
one from
showed
Ian.
his.
Yeah.
That's
Who
the
showed?
first players. That's the first player.
Yeah.
Ian Robinson.
He's the in-game announcer.
Okay.
Yeah, so he got one and he showed it to us first time. But you're the first player to show it to us.
Nice.
He's also the first player that won the Memorial Cup.
That's right. Yep. You're the
Love
first
it.
one we had from the winning season. That's right. Yeah. All
Love
right,
it.
guys. Thanks again, Brian. You're a real gem. I hope you guys are all healthy, safe, and happy out there. And as always, go Moose, go.
Go
Thank you.
Moose.
Thank you. Go Moose.
Oh, that was awesome, Brian.